Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VIII and the computer once again. Not as long as last time, I promise. But we do want to catch up on a couple of things that were here. If we go into the Friends section, we can skip through some of the previous ones. We already learned about Irvine here. But Zell came up, and Zell has nothing to talk about, except for he likes hot dogs. And Quistis is here. And she's asking how our studies are going. I think she still thinks she's a teacher. And more importantly than that, it just so happens that the latest entry is Rinoa. Considering what's going on, I thought it was appropriate to at least take a look at this. Nice to finish growing up together. Don't think I've been in a setting with so many people your age. It's kind of like camp. Well, if you go into her diary, this is kind of confusing. Previous entry, diary number 2, this one's the oldest of the bunch. You know, it says they're quite old and a bit old. They're using those things to explain the different things. There's a couple of things here that she was talking about. They're planning for the concert, and she's super happy about that. She's also super happy about the fact that Squall gets appointed leader. I didn't know he was already famous at the garden. Oh, I get it, that's why. And then they never explain it. I can presume things, but I'm not exactly sure what she is talking about. Seems a bit stoic, but he's always thinking. Just doesn't like explaining things. He doesn't like to meddle in other people's business. You can all back him up. The rest of it's all the same. Okay, hope you appreciated that little bit because I had to button mash through the rest of the dialogue for about a minute after that because there's no way to exit out of this other than reloading. Anyway, this one's not quite as old. We did it! We defeated the sorceress. All in high spirits. And yeah, so unfortunately the way this one goes is it kind of works backward in time because we started with, yeah, we defeated the sorceress, and then now we're going back to her visiting Travia. So yeah, we learned about the GF stuff. Made you really think. Gonna have to fight. But yeah, I think she's saying like this is going to be the end of the all of her entries in the diary, which of course isn't true, but anyway. Saying goodbye to the disciplinary committee. She wants to go to Travia now. And now we're back to the concert. Yeah, because they go into it in, you know, chronological order, like from when she's written it most recently and then working their way back like you would on a website, so I guess it kind of makes sense. It's just off-putting when you don't come back here every 5 minutes to read. Anyway, Day of Pondering. Very special. Be a tough battle. Our objective is time compression. We don't know what time compression is, but we're assuming that's what she's trying to do. Because Squall said so, or because Edea said so. It was hard to tell during that whole sequence. So yeah, what happened to Rinoa? Squall's not doing too well with this. Last but not least, we have Laguna's page. Now that we have all of the Timber Maniacs, I figure now is as good a time as any to come in here. There's not a lot that you can gather from what Selphie has written here, so I'm going to skim through a lot of this dialogue. But, I don't know, it's interesting enough. He wanted to write an article about alcohol, and it got rejected because Laguna's a lightweight, and I guess that would have been bad for business to tell people not to drink. I guess. That's my guess. According to Laguna, he lost all his traveling expenses gambling. And this is fun because we actually talked to the old guy here and learned about some of that stuff earlier on in the game. This is in Dalit. Wrote about how he tried to get to Essar, tried different routes, and tried to get there from Dalit, but there's no way to get there from Dalit. You understand this picture. SR's secret, and of course that's where one of the flashback sequences was. The area that we were in there, we'll learn more about later, but yeah, this will make a little more sense in kind of in the future. Was it okay for him to publish this stuff from when he was scouting? Well, considering he was in the wrong place, I don't think it's going to hurt anyone's feelings. Yeah, there's still soldiers, or at least there was earlier on in the game in Timber there. That's when he wrote all the articles, huh? Betcha he's a dandy old guy. Thing is, every time I hear the word dandy now, all I can do is think back to Space Dandy, because I just finished watching that series like a week ago or something like that. According to this article, this is SR. It's blue. Not exactly sure what it is, but you're happy he finally made it there. City looks cool. There's nothing on the continent where SR is now, huh? This is an awesome scene. This reminds me of Lake Louise in Alberta and up in Canada here. I've actually been there. It's a very, very picturesque place to look at. But this kind of reminds me of that. A classic shot that if you've ever looked at like a wilderness calendar or like a lake image calendar, you've probably seen an image of it. Got lost on the Esther continent, eh? That is most certainly breathtaking scenery. I want to go. Well, that's where we're heading next. He made his way to Balam. Stays in a lot of hotels. Kind of how it works when you travel, unless you want to sleep in your car. I've done both. Ran out of money again. Seems to be Laguna's thing, which is why whenever we went to Laguna sequences, he very rarely had any money. He has that 3,000 that he starts with, and he doesn't get anything else. So when we spend it all, he never gets any more. Sir Laguna with the Shumi tribe. Always repays an act of kindness. Yeah, the master here is a Shumi. He's also dead. I want to meet them. We've already been there. Something extra. It's the entrance to the Centra ruins. See me in the picture, yeah. Selfie is there in the picture, right above the second word, see there. She's sitting there pointing. There is a statue of a sorceress and a knight. I didn't point this out because I wasn't actually aware of it. But she pointed it out. There are tons of monsters, though. Sir Laguna's in a movie. Plus, it looks like it was shot near Terabia. I bet you he can't act. Yeah, he can't act. Find it strange, I don't see Ward in the picture. This actually changes. There are two images, if I remember correctly. There is one image that actually doesn't have Ward in there at all, and then there's this one where he's kind of cut off. If you get this issue of Timber Maniacs, in order to keep the timeline from not making no sense, they don't allow Ward to be in that sequence. So picking up the book causes Ward to not be there because apparently you don't see Ward in the picture, even though now with the picture we actually see, he's there. He's just half out of frame. So anyway, that's from book number 9 there. He writes proudly in this article, pub somewhere plus the owner. No name or location is written down. I know where it is. Yes, this is Windhill. But we're not going to say because, as we saw from the sequence, Laguna didn't want this place to be full of paparazzi and a tourist trap or whatever he was saying. But the thing is, he probably shouldn't have put it in the magazine to begin with. Made it to FH. This is where he finally headed to SR. No more trains, so he had to walk it. Sounds like a long walk. Let me know if you find more. And there are no more. No more computer time. That's all finished up. Now, a couple things real quick before we move on, and then that'll be all the extra crap and we can actually get on with the plot here. First things first, the reason why at the end of the last episode we went out of our way to pick up some of the Malbro tentacles is preferably, you don't have to, but preferably you should have 6 before you continue on. You also want to have 6 of, where are they? Steel pipes. They're hiding around here somewhere. Okay, I found them. I did not expect them to be this far over, but anyway. So you want at least 6 steel pipes, and you want to have at least 60 remedies. You also, before moving on, would like to move any junctions you have from any of your other characters and make sure that the junctions you have are set on the characters that are actively in your party. That will be helpful. And with that said, in the previous, or after I recorded the previous episode, I went and I fought about 5 or 6 battles with Toneberries just to learn a couple of things. We learned a Vitality bonus for Carbuncle. We learned Spirit bonus, or whatever else I was working on for you. Now we're working on Auto Potion. Here we learned, I think I worked on Elemental Defense. I wasn't really worried about things. I just didn't want you to get super far ahead with Speed plus 40, since I'm not going to equip Speed plus 40 until everyone can use it, just so that my speed is balanced and it just makes drawing easier and combat simpler. So here we worked on Status Defense and Status Defense times 2, just so that I had that ability. Next thing I'll be working on is Speed plus 20. And here we finished Med Level Up, which is the primary reason why I did the little bit of farming that I did. And then we started working on Elemental Defense Junction times 4. And here we finished up Sell High. I also learned Call Shop at some point. I didn't mention, I think I learned it off screen. And yeah, so we're working on Initiative there. Now, in abilities, Call Shop. You can now call any shop from wherever you happen to be. Most shops are going to contain all the same junk. But luckily, the Timber Pet Shop contains these useful things that we're actually going to want to use, such as Amnesia Greens and, you know, the basic stat junctions there. So that's nice. Everything else here, all these other shops are basically exactly the same. I don't think there's any difference for any of them. This is the only reason I went out of my way to make sure I went into every single shop, just so that I would have them all here in a complete list at the end of the game. I believe this is all the ones we can run into so far. They're all the same, as you can see here. Kind of pointless. I'm not sure why there are so many shops and they don't just all sell the same crap. But the pet shop's the important one to grab. And yeah, so we've done that. Bought the cactars, told you that I did. We talked to a bunch of people, figured out all the stuff with Laguna, and it seems that the way to SR, and the reason why I did the Laguna stuff now, is by going to FH. You want to do all this stuff before going to FH, because once you go here, everything starts. You're gonna go meet alone. Some of this dialogue goes automatically. Yeah, Squall really does change a lot from the start of Disc 3. It's a bit far, but we'll make it. Up until now, Squall has walked by himself. Now we have to control him. And actually, somewhat logically, we can only walk. I don't know about you, but carrying, 100 pounds on your back isn't going to make running particularly easy. Now he's running on his own. Well, it's a train track. Yeah, what are you doing, Squall? Yeah, that's the plan. Your application of the plan is bare bones, to say the least. This is also true. Are you thinking ahead, Squall? Looks like you started and then realized that, oh, I made a terrible mistake and I wasn't looking ahead, and now I'm looking ahead and now I see I made a huge mistake. Time to rest. It's interesting how there's a single star in the sky. Maybe. What do you think, Rinoa? Now, many aspects of Squall's personality and like his big switch here kind of bother me. But, you know, growing up as a kid, you know, being an introverted kid and identifying a lot with what Squall thought, you know, it's like you have this opinion where you don't really care. You know, it's like, I don't want to care what other people think of me, but at the same time, you kind of do. And it's that part of you that just bothers you. You don't want to care, but somewhere deep inside you do, even though you think you shouldn't. Well, I kind of agreed with him here too. It was something that I went through as well. So, and I really did hate that side of me, and to some extent I still do to a certain extent. Wanted to hide that side of myself. I don't think she's going to tell anybody, Squall. As much as I dislike certain aspects of this scene, in terms of like the drastic change in character, the honest nature of Squall's dialogue here is really refreshing. Because, yeah, he honestly just doesn't give a crap early on in the game, but you can tell that some of this dialogue was crafted with a lot of care, and I very much appreciate that. And what the hell are you guys doing here? Squall's late. Did you guys figure out what I was planning? Princess is still asleep. A kiss from the prince. Well, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, we came here to pester you. You're going to Escort, right? We're coming too. Edea's escort. What now? You're going to Escort too? What's going on here? All planning on going to Escort too. Yes, you said that already. Leave as soon as you're ready. Go see Dr. Odine or Odine. Again, this name came up once before. The bangle or bangle or whatever that thing is that Rinoa had that she was trying to use on Sorceress Edea much earlier in the game, near the end of Disc 1. Yeah, we heard the name. Tell me more. Don't you know? Knowledge about the sorceress, he's number 1. Okay. That's not a good idea. So you want to protect yourself. Oh. So you want to rid yourself of all power. Interesting. Okay, let's go. Oh, there are the other two. I'm not sure how these guys got there ahead of us. Maybe they did the logical thing and took the garden there and then hopped off the garden onto the tracks instead of starting from Fisherman's Horizon. I'm not sure, but yeah. She's still asleep. Yeah, ain't she cute? Can we make it to Escort? Oh, Squall's blushing. Unfortunately, he doesn't blush like Edgar from Final Fantasy VI. That one was fun. Don't make him angry. Supposed to be huge. Can't seem to find it anywhere. Let's try going east next. Selfie. Oh, hold the phone. Edea's a party member. This is one of those situations that I can't make a comparison to in other games where it's like, holy crap, you got this character and they were an enemy early on for obvious spoiler reasons. But yeah, we get Sorceress Edea in our party. Gonna pair her up with Selfie, go with the full magical party here. And we're going to give the magical setup to Edea and the physical setup to Selfie there. We definitely want to see what we can do with a whole new party member here. And here, we are on the west coast of Escort. And there's a lot of artifacting here. But let's keep yourself a save file from back on land, because at this point we can't leave. And also note that if you go switch, you can still grab junctions from Rinoa, but she can't really do anything else, so she's kind of unconscious for a bit. We've been able to encounter them since early on Disc 2, midway through start of Disc 3, we're still running into them. Edea, she gets her limit break. Sorcery. Ice Strike. I love the continuity here. Her limit break is something we've seen before. Same move she used on Squall. While we're here, I'm going to have to transfer them because I don't think anyone actually has my scan spells anymore. But I would like to make use of the scan spell and scan all of our party members, since we've been able to do that all game long, but I've never actually done it for not really any particular reason, just because I figured I'd wait until I had some more characters actually in my party. So let's go and grab some of those from somebody. Scans, give those to... Yeah, see, right now we have someone who has no magic spells at all, because Edea came in and she had no spells at that time. So let's give those to Edea. Sure, why not? And... Okay, I did say it. That's fine. Then we can go in. I don't see much of a city. I see a storm up ahead. We're in for a long trip. Now, the thing about this area is it's one of those areas where you only get to hear the song here once, and I love the hell out of it. So, even though this is a short area, I'm going to do a little bit of dragging here, just to do everything we could possibly do here so that we can hear the song just a little bit longer. It still doesn't mean very much, but anyway. You all know what to do, unfortunately. Did I miss something? Air's getting heavy. Let me go get Rinoa back. It's like a picnic. Not really.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
You know, input song clip. Every time, you know, if someone says, someone once told me, you always hear the Smash Mouth song. If you mention bad things, they'll come true. Let's not talk about that anymore. Let's move on. They give you another chance to switch party members. Let's listen to this music. Okay, so we heard the song. I love this song. It's got a completely different atmosphere from everything else. We also got to see 2 draw points. In order to get those draw points, we actually need to backtrack. And most of the enemies we fight here tend to be these guys. Visage. Alright, so let's take a look at scan here, and we'll start scanning some of our party members. I'm not worried about actually fighting most of the enemies around here, because, well, they can't do too much. But I'd like to see what each of our characters looks like under scan. See what kind of flavor text we get here. A sorceress. Well versed in magic. Uses a special magic attack called sorcery. Yeah, for any pervs out there, yeah, you can't see upper dress. And of course, you know, what was it, 12-year-old me or whatever when I played the game for the first time? Yeah, of course you're trying to look up everyone's skirt. I think they actually made a modification in some versions of the game. It might have been the North American release with Selfie, because she wears a short skirt, and they like changed it so you can't move the camera up or something. I think I remember reading that somewhere. I could be wrong. We'll find out in a second here. Transfer student uses nunchaku as a special weapon. Yeah, I can't rotate her up and down. Only side to side. Alright, let's stop casting spells. Did you cast Meteor? You did cast Meteor. I can't draw that from you. I might have to revive Edea. Yeah, I have to revive Edea. That's what the life spell's for. And that's what the Meteor spell looks like. And on Squall. And then we'll try some other party members here. Uses a sword called the Gunblade. Kuchen, silent, and a bit cold. Yeah, everybody else you can flip up and around and all over the place. Anyway, let's see what the other characters look like. And when you scan Zell here, loves hot dogs sold in the garden. Uses close combat skills and punches and kicks, and that's about it. And he's upside down. And Irvine here just happens to be sagging, just because he's weak at the moment, but he's an expert marksman, can use specialized bullets to attack enemies. Doesn't perform very well under pressure. Okay then. Alright, let's take a quick look at Clistus here. Uses a whip. When in danger, uses monster skills she has learned. Her admirers in the garden have formed a fan club. Now, I guess her skirt isn't short enough that even if she isn't sagging, you can still flip her all the way around and weird stuff. Seems to only be Selfie. Also note that the only enemies you can run into around here are these guys in various amounts. You can just encounter the hands by themselves without the actual guys there. We don't need to fight these guys though, so it doesn't really matter. So let's just run away. Now, we're back at the entrance, because I had to go outside in order to be on the world map. And if we go up the dinosaur, or the whatever he is there, the dragon, something, T-Rex, we can sneak over here. One of these draw points requires move find. I don't remember which one. It's either that one, or it's the other one up here. And yeah, these are the only guys you can run into. You can't card these guys. I have no interest in fighting them, primarily because I'm going to reload my file to just outside at the end of this episode, because I want to keep the scans for scanning other things later. There's a Thundaga draw point. And from here, if we stop running into battles, that would be appreciated. You can just encounter this guy by himself. And he can stare at me. like someone's staring at the back of my head. Yeah, I believe those are the only guys you can run into around here. Over and over and over again. Here we can press the X button to jump off, and somehow that actually works. Even though it looks like you're jumping a long way. We go up here. There appears to be nothing. We go to the right. We find a save point. And that's good, because next time I'll load up my file from just outside and I'll make my way back here without losing things. And some of those Visage enemies can draw spells from you, so you can lose some spells that way. So I don't want that. I'm just going to go back and run away from them faster so that they don't have a chance to do that. And we'll meet you back here at the start of the next episode. But anyway, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. And I'll see you guys next time.